This still doesn't quite feel normal. Anyways, good evening to you all. Hopefully we're on stream and you put all the clues together and you've managed to somewhat figure them out. You've realised that each of the individual riddles will give you letters that give you words, and you've put all those words together to give you a message. You now have that message. Now, whether you've got the answer or not, I have really enjoyed these past few days. I've never seen so many people get involved with a community activity before, ever. And I never knew so many people loved riddles. But here we are now, and you are all dying to know what the announcement is. So, before we get there, I think it's important we go back to the start where it all began. Join me as we take a trip in time back to the day it all started, January 2020, with MyDylsexia. So, at the very beginning, the very start of my Twitch journey actually began before I started streaming. When I was working on uni assignments, I enjoyed watching Twitch because it allowed me to watch the boring parts of streams. Because with YouTube, every bit of the video was always really exciting and I'd always want to watch it. But with Twitch streams, there's quite often bits in between that aren't as exciting because it's traveling from one place to another. So it allowed me to get work done while having the boring bits. And then when things got excited, I could lift my head up and watch and then go back. It worked really well. So that was how I first got involved with Twitch. There was an Apex streamer called Corrupt, I think it was called, who I used to watch all the time. He was the guy that I watched, the MyDylsexia. And eventually it got to the point where I kind of went, well, why can't I do this? So January 2020, during my second year of university training to become a PE teacher, I created MyDylsexia on my Xbox in my room and began streaming. I was living in a flat with 3 other boys from uni who had no idea about Twitch or anything like that. They just, I think one of them played Fortnite or something. It wasn't crazy. I downloaded the Twitch app on my Xbox, I loaded it up, I signed in, and I hit that go live button. The people I streamed with were my 2 best friends called Nick and Riley, who many of you will know. They've appeared on stream quite often over the period of time that we've been doing this. I would play with them. The first game I played with them was Apex at the very beginning. We used to play a lot of Apex together, trios, and we used to be quite good, actually. I remember the first clip we had was in a game of Apex on World's Edge. Nick asked the question, do you guys actually enjoy standing on Lego? And we were all like, what? That's crazy. And I was like, boom, that's content. So I clipped it. Nick and Riley always used to get annoyed at me because at the start of every stream, when I clicked the go live button, I would get them to go on their phone, load up my Twitch stream and act as a viewer. So I'd maybe have like 4 viewers or something as opposed to 0, because I'd get them to go on their phone and I would do it myself. Every single stream, I'd get them to do it. And they hated it. They really did hate it, but they enjoyed being on stream with me. Now, I streamed to absolutely no one on that Xbox app for God knows how long before I upgraded to a PC and started streaming on a PC again. And still from there, I streamed to 0 people for about 4 months straight. But we really enjoyed the idea that we were on the internet, we were streaming and people were watching when there wasn't anyone watching. Now on the PC, what you can do is you can actually see who's watching you at the time. And if I had a viewer, I would go and look. And there was a particular viewer called Mr. Commander Root, which, if you do know, is a Twitch bot. But at the time, I did not know that he was a Twitch bot and thought that he was a viewer. So during my streams to nobody, we would often be talking to Commander Root as if he was a person, and he obviously wouldn't reply, asking him things like, how's your day going, Commander Root? What's going on? Really nice to see you. And it was odd, but it gave an idea of that we were being watched by somebody, which is really cool. Now, these months of streaming to nobody, you might think were really boring, but we absolutely loved it. And it actually is something that I think was really important to my beginning of doing Twitch streaming, because it taught me how to fill gaps, how to deal with nobody being in stream, and how to actually stream without having anyone watching. And it's a really important part of streaming because there's a lot of silences and you need to learn how to fill those silences. And I feel as if I couldn't think of me being a streamer without having those 4 months streaming to nobody. Now, the first time we got viewers was from the lovely app that we all are very much addicted to, that is TikTok. I would take clips from Twitch and post them on there, and every so often I might get some followers for it. Now, here is something that is very special to me and to many viewers that are still in stream to this day. I used to, every time I get a follower, I would send them a little paragraph saying, "Hi, my name is MyDylsexia, and thank you very much for the follow. I stream on these days, I stream these games, we're close to a certain amount of followers, I would love for you to come and join." And I would send that to any new follower I got. With maybe 50, 100, 200 followers, that's not very much. But as my videos got a little bit of traction, I started getting up to 1,000 followers. And once you get to 1,000 followers on TikTok, you can go live. So I would put my phone up in my room in front of me with a light, and I would put some music on in the background, and I would sit for hours on end in the evening and just go live on TikTok and just talk to people that join the streams. Back in the day, TikTok, when you started your TikTok live, they would give you hundreds of viewers in the first 30 seconds to a minute of a stream, and then it would come down to around between 20 and maybe 80 viewers. But that was still crazy to me. Loads of people were in there, loads of people were chatting. And so over time, I got to know these randomers on the internet that weren't interested in gaming, but just came to say hello to me. And eventually I said to them, "Listen, it's been really nice talking to you, but I actually do this thing on Twitch. I'd love for you to join." And they were my first viewers. They came along to Twitch, and I think they were actually maybe some of my first mods as well, purely just because of that TikTok. Now, as I did more of the lives, I would get more followers every evening, hundreds of followers every evening just for the people I meet. And that meant I would be doing hundreds of copy and paste of this paragraph. And literally, I remember waking up in the morning, checking my phone, seeing that I'd had 80 new followers, and I would spend an hour copy and pasting, copy and pasting, copy and pasting, sending these paragraphs to these people just so they would read it. 1 in 50 might come along to stream, but that means I've got one extra viewer joining my community. And it was so cool to have people joining and being like, "I seen your message, I've come along to say hello," and they joined. And that was how I built the very start of my community, was posting videos, doing lives, and bringing people from TikTok to Twitch. Now, as we began to build up a community, we branched out with our games. We went from Apex to Rainbow Six Siege. We played Rainbow Six Siege for probably about half a year. And I built up a little bit of a community around there. I got to know streamers that also played that game. And again, I posted Rainbow Six Siege content, and some of the videos went viral. And I gained another couple of thousand followers, which meant another couple of thousand copy and pasted and sent to these people. And then more people started to come and stream from that, which was brilliant. Now, as we know, I've been doing that for a couple of years now. I've gone from Apex to Rainbow Six Siege to Call of Duty and Warzone. That was a massive part for me in streaming. I met loads of big streamers through Warzone, and it was a really, really awesome time for me. I loved the game. It was lots of fun. Warzone and Rebirth were a big thing for me. I got to play with viewers, and it was a very popular game, so when I posted videos on TikTok, it got a lot of views. This is also the period when I posted my dyslexic videos to do with Warzone. Who's Echoes Mike and Cows and Kneeboard, all those wonderful videos which gained us a little bit more traction, a little bit more views, and ultimately that was the big boost, I think, from about 4,500 followers on TikTok all the way up to 150. I remember when I hit my first 50,000, I was like, what is going on? I hit 100k and I was like, this isn't real, this can't be real. And then I hit 150k and I went bonkers. I ran through to my parents and said, I don't think you understand. I now have 150,000 people following me on a social media platform. Now they're too old to quite understand that, but they were so happy for me, it's crazy. Now, over this whole period of time, I was gaining traction, I was gaining viewers, and I was building an awesome community, and I absolutely loved it. There was one problem: streaming could never be my priority. As I said, I started in second year of uni, training to become a PE teacher. Now, on the course of being a PE teacher, I also had placement to do every single year. In third year, I did an 8-week placement at a school, unpaid, from Monday to Friday for 8 weeks straight, which meant obviously I couldn't stream Monday to Friday, so I would only be able to stream on the Friday evening or the Saturday evening. So I went from streaming 4 times a week to maybe 2 at the most, which really impacted my views, impacted my streaming. I also in fourth year had placement for 12 weeks, which meant that I couldn't stream at all during the week again, and I could only stream 2 times at the weekend. Teaching had to come first for me. I needed to get my assignments, I needed to get my work done. Now, all the way until the end of fourth year, I thought, once I get the degree under my belt, I'll be able to take my time out and I'll be able to do streaming then. But Sadly, that's not how it worked. At the end of my course, once I'd got my degree, I actually had to do a further year of work at a school in Scotland for me to actually officially pass and become registered as a teacher. And so at the end of 4th year, I took the summer off and I had time there where I went a little bit full-time with streaming. It was awesome. I really enjoyed it. But then in September, some of you might remember, I moved into a new flat and I worked full-time as a teacher. Now, guys, don't get me wrong. I absolutely loved that year. It's got a really special place in my heart. I met so many amazing people and I really, really enjoyed it. It was honestly incredible. But yet again, streaming came second and teaching always came first. Now, I did that all the way up until, you might remember, the end of June. I hit the summer holidays and I went to Paris and I went to Portugal. And now that leads us up to this exact point, the 5th of August, 2023. Looking back, I've gone from the very, very start of Twitch. I've done it the slow way, which I think is probably one of the best ways to do it. I've built up, I've educated myself on streaming, on software, on games, on editing. I've learned so much about the world of streaming, which has been incredible. But I've also gone and gotten my degree. I've also gone away and done a whole year of paid work in a school that I absolutely loved. My journey as a teacher has been absolutely incredible. For anyone out there that wishes to go into teaching, I thoroughly recommend it. It is highly, highly demanding, but it is such a rewarding job. You get a first row seat to watch the journey of young individuals mature and develop to the point where they become almost adults, and it is incredibly rewarding. Some of the best moments I've had in the last year and a half through teaching, I will remember for the rest of my life. And as much as it has been difficult and time consuming to try and keep streaming and teaching together, it has been absolutely incredible. Even when my students found out about me streaming, it went crazy for the first couple of days, but after people sat down and realised, oh, it's not actually that different what he's doing, it's actually quite normal, I got to have these incredible chats with my students about, yeah, I do streaming, I play games online, it's my hobby. And they were like, well, I actually really like Warzone, well, I like Fortnite, well, I play Valorant. And I got to start having conversations with kids that I'd never even managed to talk to, but this was the middle ground between us that combined us, that brought us together. I thought it was going to be a really big problem streaming and being a teacher at the same time. But in fact, it turned out to be one of the best decisions I've ever done. Now, as much as I do paint that in an absolutely incredible light, it has now gotten to the point where I'm in a place that I haven't told you about yet. That year that I did of teaching, there's something I didn't mention, and that one thing is that it is only for a year. Now, if you haven't figured that out already with the riddles that I've given you in the clues, I am currently in the position where, after the summer holidays, I do not have a job lined up. And so, I am incredibly excited. I'm gonna cry. I am incredibly excited to announce that Saturday, the 5th of August, 2023, will be the first day of MyDylsexia as a full-time content creator for the foreseeable future. I've got goosebumps. I don't know if you can see that, but I have goosebumps on my arms. I have been waiting for this moment for an incredibly long period of time. Every moment in the past 3 years, there has been something that is more important right now that I need to do, that I need to put streaming to the side. It's always meant something's been first, and it's always meant I've never been able to put my heart and soul into streaming. I've watched people be on the same level as me and then go full-time, and they popped off, and they're now full-time, and they're flourishing. And as much as it pains me to say it, I was really happy for them, but it killed me inside. I wanted to be that person. I wanted to be there, and I couldn't because there was something more important that I needed to get done first. And so now we're here. I am so incredibly excited to finally give it a shot.